Birds of a feather flock together. Thieves run with thieves. Don't be surprised when you see pigeons all standing up in a line on the wire. When you see cats hanging out with cats. When you see a whole group of flies flying around a piece of dung. Every creature is always with its own kind. And isn't that what we all want? Something that is our kind, that is like us? It works with people too. Sure, we're all human beings, as a species, as a kind, but within that kind, we're not all the same, are we? Because more than the physical kind for the human being is the spiritual kind. And you see that. Athletic people hang out with athletic people. Surf dudes hang out with surfer dudes. Drunks hang around drunks. Hippies hang around hippies. Mathematicians hang around other mathematicians, etc., etc. And it goes deeper than that. Because within every group, there's subgroups. You see, Christians hang around Christians, Baptists hang around Baptists, Episcopalians hang around Episcopalians. Everybody hang around those who are like him in their spirit, in their mind, who think like him, who act like him, who like the same things as him. And you can really see that in the microcosmos when you look at a classroom in a public school. When I was in school, we had 30 plus children in the classroom, like 35, 36. That was a lot of kids in a small classroom. And you could see the different camps, right? Even the girls, some of the girls, we had like a group of like 4 girls. They were always together. Then there were the 2 girls that are always best friends, BFF. Then you had the few weird ones that always by themselves, they were crazy-eyed, whatever. And the guys were the same. You had the jocks, you had the nerds, you had those who always follow the teacher, you had the oddballs. You know, everybody's looking for someone who's like them. So it's no surprise when you see that when Yeshua walked the earth, he was not walking in a group. Really, his only friend, you could say a friend, was Yochanan the Baptist. He was also his cousin, but he was akin to him because he was also of the same Spirit of God. He was a man of righteousness. When I was young, before I became a follower, I was a computer nerd, video games. I didn't have many friends, I didn't like people. Why would I? They were not like me. Only friend I had was another nerd like me. And our common interests were the same, video games and movies. Didn't go beyond that. And after high school, I never saw him again. Because our shared interests were ended. But if you're a man of God, if you truly have a heart for Papa, then you will, by default, look to befriend other people who have a heart for Papa and are hungry for him so that you can have something in common. Pharisees run with Pharisees. They don't mix and match with people of the Spirit, which is why Yeshua had so much trouble with them. Yeshua was a righteous man, had a heart of God. He kept the true Torah of the heart, walking blamelessly. He wasn't a religious man, focusing on all these rituals. Why? All that mess, for what? To attain righteousness, as if that's going to help you? So he picked his disciples, not because they were great, but because he was, so that they could become like him. Of course, we know one of them was a traitor and betrayed him. But the others, eventually, as he told Peter, once you are strong, you're not strong yet, but when you get strong, strengthen your brothers, feed my sheep. He made them into his kin. He expanded his kingdom. He gave them the Spirit of God, the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, the Spirit that comes from God, so that they might become more like God. Without the Holy Spirit, we have no hope. How can we become holy? How can we attain righteousness? We have no idea. We can't discern our left from our right. We have to have that Spirit guide to teach us and guide us and walk with us, lead us. And when you have the Holy Spirit, which most do not, then you realize something. You realize that most do not. And it is very hard to find someone who is kin to you, who is like you, who is of your kind, that you could flock with, like the birds of a feather. But when you do, it's a most wonderful thing. Such is the case with Stephen, my brother in the Lord, my wonderful soulmate that Papa gave me. A soulmate does not mean a wife. It means a mate for the soul. Someone whose soul is kin to yours. You are of the same spirit. And Papa brought us together. And when you look at it, you have to ask yourself, how is that possible? Papa does make it very clear for people to see. Because except for the Spirit of God would have put us together, we would have nothing in common. I'm from Israel, a Jew, Ashkenazi. He's from the United States, African American. Double my age, twice my age. He's been a Christian most of his life until the revelation, coming out of Christianity. But nevertheless, we would have nothing in common except that I came to know the Lord, and so did he, and the Lord brought us together, started our ministry, international ministry, and we talk every day. I'm in Israel, he's in California. We're on the phone for an average of 5 hours a day on a video call, 5 hours video, seeing each other every day. 7 days a week. At first, I couldn't even take an hour. I was like, I gotta go. We've been on the phone for an hour. I gotta go. But, well, the more I grow, the more I become like the Spirit of God, the more tolerance and patience I get, and the more like Him I become. And the things of righteousness do not bother me. I can endure. It is the opposite. Whereas before I could watch secular movies for 4 hours a day, eating my popcorn and just wasting my life away, now I can't stand it. The most I can take is like 30 minutes of something of value, something that has some morals to it, and something that's, good values that I can watch and be inspired by. But even that, after 30 minutes, I'm like, I gotta do something. I can't just sit here and watch this thing. Because my spirit has changed. Because I spend time with the Father, I become more like Him. I become more like His kind. Hence, I'm attracted to people who are of my kind, and I attract people of my kind. Birds of a feather flock together. When you're a man of God, you will attract other men of God. If you're a woman of God, you will attract women of God. Just the way it is. And to be a man of God is literally what it is. You are a man and you belong to the Father. You walk with Him. You have His Spirit in you. You are His servant, doing His will, like Moshe. Moshe was a man of God. Think about it. Moshe didn't have many close people. The only ones who were close was really Aharon, his brother, and Yehoshua, his assistant, who took over later and led the people into the land. That's it. He wasn't really close to anyone else. They weren't of his kin, Only Moshe was allowed to go up the mountain. And in Israel, you had a massive community, and they all got along just fine with each other because there's always more of them. Diamonds are rare, but there's a whole lot of dust. You're never going to be popular because we are an extreme minority. Always been that way. Israel was that minority. He said, I did not pick you because you were the greatest, but because you were the least. And within Israel, not all Israel is the same. You had the tribe of the Levites. And within the Levites, not all were the same. You had the priestly family. And within the priestly family, they were not all the same. You had the high priest. So you can see that segregation within each group. And at the resurrection, when all of these holy people will be brought back to life, you will be able to see that. The high priests will all hang out with other high priests, right? Like I said, each after its own kind. People who love the Lord will hang out with other people who love the Lord. So if you're hated by this world, don't take offense, rejoice. Why would you want to be loved by people who are not like you, people who hate God? If you truly are a man after God's own heart, like I am, like Stephen is, like David was, then expect this. This is a part of the plan. It's a part of what's coming. And it's a wonderful thing. It is a testimony of how you're different. I don't fit in with religious people. They can't take me and I can't stand them. And that's good, because I'm not a religious Pharisee. I truly serve the Lord. And if you are that kind of person, then don't worry about it. The Lord will eventually bring someone in your path, because He did say that it is not good for men to be alone. Now, most of our life, most of our days, we are by ourselves, but we're not alone. The Holy Spirit is with us. And when we get together once a year for Pesach, sometimes more than that, it is a most wonderful time. Stephen comes to Israel and we celebrate the Pesach together and praising our God in heaven. So give God the glory. Whether you are by yourself, whether you have a companion. Paul often longed for Timothy and Silas to be with him. They were like I am to Stephen, like Elisha to Eliyahu, men of God, running with other men of God. And most of our life, we don't have that comfort, but when we do, what a joy. What a wonderful joy that we can come together. Like David said, how wonderful it is for the brethren to dwell together. As the Hebrew song goes, Hine ma tov u'mana'im, shevet achim gam yachad. How good and wonderful it is for the brethren to dwell together. Brethren of the Spirit, not just because you are born in the same house. Those people can be your murderers and your biggest enemies. But people of the Spirit, if you are born of God, then your brothers are the ones who are born of God. And eventually the Lord will gather together all of His elect, and we will all end up in His holy land and dwell with Him forever. So until that day, just hold on. Be strong and courageous. Draw nearer unto Papa, and He will draw nearer unto you. And the evidence will be how you treat your fellow servants, your fellow brothers and sisters in the Lord.